The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
I'm a big fish in a small pond, got my days free and my nights long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. As famous as I wanna be. Who I am is fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am. Who I am is fine with me.
Oh, here we go. Okay, everybody. Here we go. Hi, everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? Welcome to episode 54 of What's the Story with Maria. And I am back in town right now. I'm going to type something in to the Facebook Live because what happened... Oh, there they are. People are coming in. Fantastic. Okay, so let me put on my glasses. Jeffrey Campbell has joined us. Chris DiPiero has joined us. Jeannie Craig has joined us. Hi, Jeannie. Hi, Chris. Hi, Jeffrey. Armed Radio has joined us. Okay, so here's what I want to tell you guys. This is, and my guests are doing this as we speak. If you want to share our show, look at all the likes already. If you want to share our show, which we hope you do, I know we have some people out in Philly tonight. We have my friend Chris Dilley's mom, Jill, is out there. So if you...
Sister Jen.
And Sister Jen, fantastic. So if what we want to do is, if you want to share this show to your page, go to the bottom of the screen. You'll see us, our faces. Just share to your timeline, and it will run on your page. Okay, so tonight's episode, my guests are Chris Dilley, Dilley, and Liz Lark Brown, just the way it sounds. There she is, lovely. They're both lovely, and as I said in the promo, easy on the eyes. Sometimes that happens, and I have to just boast about it. If you have easy on the eyes, boast. And Chris, I got to tell you, I'm telling you, Martin Marushak has joined us. Hi, Martin Marushak. Oh my God, Mandar. Hi, Mandar. Mandar has Dilley, he said.
Dilley. I had no idea about Dilley. My family, because in New York City, we don't know what that is.
What is it?
It's isn't it Bud Light or some kind of...
Oh, yes!
Commercial? I had no idea. And then
That's right.
People outside of New York had to tell me what it was.
Yes, Dilley. Leo Rodriguez has joined us. Jessica Schaefer has joined us. Great singer, Jessica Schaefer. And you're going to love the show because we're going to really... Kyle de Blasio going to focus on vocals tonight, amongst other things. Leo is blushing. Yes, Leo is my friend. He is like a jack of all trades. So I appreciate him. Sometimes he's in our studio audience and he'll post things. So here we go. Okay, so I try to put people together when I have my guests that there's a connection, whether they've met each other or not. And tonight the connection is of vocals, and it's vocal. I called it the Vocal Focus Show. And the reason I did that is because, there's Jill Dilley. She's joined us.
Aww.
Hi, Jill. We were talking about you. Love from Mom and Sis. Hi, girls. We're so glad that you made it to our show. So we were just starting to talk about Chris. And Chris is someone that I know from Piano Bar and also mutual friends like Emily McNamara is one of our mutual friends, who, by the way, she can't stop singing your praises.
Aww.
So she's always, and I'm like, I know, I love him, and he's so handsome, right? So
guys, I gotta...
I know. So we
take you home with me.
One day we were on the train, and I ran into you, and we started talking vocals and students, and I didn't really know that you taught as much as you do. You have your Chris Dilley Studios, right?
Yeah, Chris Dilley Vocal Studio.
Okay, Chris Dilley Vocal Studio. If you want to look at that. All right. So, how does someone... You must have started off as a singer first. Would you say that you started off as a singer, appreciating the voice first?
Yes.
Okay.
I started off... I actually wanted to be a teacher before I wanted to be a singer.
Okay.
Which is always because my mom, and she has 3 sisters, they were all in education.
Okay, good to know.
And I always leaned toward, when I was in school, even, I remember in first grade, I'd be like, I love what my teacher's doing, but I would do this differently. I was watching what she was doing.
Right. When's your birthday, by the way? You a Taurus?
June 2nd, Gemini.
Oh, me too.
Are you?
Wow, yeah. When's your... No, May 21st.
Oh, okay.
But Gemini. What are you, Liz?
I'm an Aquarius.
Oh, that's good. Gemini's and Aquarius.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm supposed to date Geminis and Libras.
Yeah, Libra. Libra's my sign that I love. So go ahead. You teachers, and you would watch a situation and think I would do that differently.
Yep. And then when I was in college, I taught acting and improv. I started as a camp counselor in a theater camp, and then kind of made my way into teaching some acting and improv in DC and then in San Francisco.
Wow, okay.
And then I started touring full-time as a singing performer. And when I was out there singing, I would have people ask me, kind of out of the blue, do you teach?
Really?
Because
what do you think that's about? I mean, I find you very approachable, but also very
thanks.
smart. So you're kind of like, I would put you under the no-nonsense category.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, I could get an answer from you, but don't ask stupid questions.
But I'm not a jerk.
No, you're not at all, but you're not...
But I mean, I think that's the energy they get.
Yes.
Yeah.
That you're serious about it.
Yeah. And I guess I give off a teacher energy. Which is
great.
So I said no for a long time, and then I had a friend... say to me, I'm nervous about singing, but I'm being asked to
I got to
sing
stop you right now. Eugenia Mesa, that's my honey. Hi, honey. She's in Florida right now. That's Judy. Hi, Judy. We were just talking about Libras. Libras came up because Gemini, Aquarius, and we all get along with Libras. So the Libra popped up, conjured her up. So go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So I had a friend who said, I'm nervous about it, and I trust you because we were good friends.
Yeah.
So he said, would you be willing to teach me, what you know? And I said, sure, let's...
And how old were you when that happened?
That was...
Or what?
10 years ago?
Okay. All right.
10 years ago. So I ended up getting together with him and just shared with him what I knew and how I got myself ready to sing, and it brought my love of teaching with my love of singing and all the experience I had had and all the training I had had.
Right.
And it was the most fun, satisfying, exciting.
Really?
The hour flew by.
Yeah.
And he said to me, I want you to be my teacher.
Isn't that amazing?
And I said, okay, this was great. And it just built from there.
Okay. And so you were a natural and didn't even really know that you were a natural at it. But a student... they say, I love that when you're ready, the teacher will appear. But I have to say, because I'm also a teacher, when the teacher is ready, the student also, it's a two-way street. Sometimes, because I didn't know I was a teacher either. I had no, and what happened was I ran into a friend who was pregnant. She was teaching acting in Sunset Park. And she said, I need somebody to just, while I'm on maternity leave, and I can't find anybody. And I was directing shows. And so she said, can you just fill in for me? And I was like, I've never taught. Yeah. And that's how it starts sometimes. And you find like that your heart opens up, and then that your mind is stimulated, and that someone really cares about something you have to say. And then did you find that you became a better teacher as the years went on because you had to step it up?
Yeah, well, I learned...
you learn as you go, right?
You learn as you go, and you just I felt more comfortable. I felt more... with all the experience, I just felt like, yes, I know what we're doing here.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah. It's wonderful. And, New York City became so much of more of an open book and a warmer place when I finally said yes to teaching.
Wow.
Yeah. Because the performing then had a little bit of a different relationship. Performing had a little bit of a different place for me in my work life.
Okay.
It wasn't the intense focus.
Yeah, it wasn't something I needed.
That's so interesting.
Every day.
There's something called the 12 I used to get Writer's Digest because I also am a writer, and I used to get Writer's Digest, and one of the things, which I may start getting again, it's a great magazine, but one of the things that it said was they had this rule of 12, and what it was is they challenged you to be working on 12 different things at once. Because it would take your focus off of the anxiety of the one or the two. And I found my brain is like that anyway as a Gemini. I like a lot of stimuli, a lot of different things, and so I found that to be such a de-stressor. If I was working on, because some people are better if they just focus on one thing at a time. I am not. Because my mind wanders anyway. Also, like especially with you guys know all about this. When you go on auditions, sometimes you're like, oh, I hope they call, or you'll be working on a project and hope that if you're working on more things, you're trying to right, and that it doesn't have to be 12 projects. It can be like, you write in your journal that day, or you look at a YouTube video and learn something that you didn't know.
Well, I tell my students it's like tending to a garden.
Okay.
You know, you give it the love. You plant the seed. You rearrange the soil. I'm not a gardener, so
Right,
my
no, but
metaphors
you're right.
might not be right on. You water it, and then you leave it.
You leave it. I
You know?
love that.
And then the growth happens because you gave it the love, but it's not like you can pull the flower out of the ground.
Right, you have to wait for it.
You have to wait for it. And sometimes it pops up in different places that you didn't expect.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, so Duke Cook has joined us. Joe Savino has joined us. We love Duke Cook.
Yes, we do.
He's got some. Hi, Joe Savino. I don't know what you're talking about, Joe. Joe is he's famous, but he was on our show last week and he was hysterical. Bryant Vance toured with Chris for years. You know Bryant?
I know Bryant Vance. He's an amazing bass. I toured with him with Voca people. He sings with Rockapella now.
Wow.
He's amazing. Yeah, he's amazing.
We're going to come back to like all the, because I know you do, speaking of a lot of projects, I know you do a lot of different things. So I want to talk about that too. So now let's shift over to Liz.
Yeah.
So Liz Lark Brown, Aaron James has joined us. Jessica Schaefer, so good. Yes, she's an amazing vocalist. So Jessica, one of these days, I know Jessica's schedule is crazy. I want to get her on the show. We tried to get her once, and there was a lot going on, and train delays and all kinds. But we'll get her on again. So Liz,
Yes.
did you start off as a vocalist? I know you're an actor. You do a lot of different things. What would you say was your first love? I know that you started as a kid.
Yeah, it was I guess it was like a combination of singing and acting and dance classes as a little kid.
So musical theater, definitely.
Basically, yeah. Sick days, I'd be sat down in front of the television if I stayed home from school, and I don't know how in those days, but invariably we'd find an old, movie musical, an MGM movie musical or something, and I was watching specifically Judy Garland in Summer Stock. And she was in the man's tailored jacket with the fedora, singing "Get Happy," and something clicked in my head as a little kid. That's like, wait, that's a person doing a job. Like it wasn't the character. It was I had the
okay. You had the wherewithal to know that as a kid.
Doing a job. I was like, what is that job? I can do something in me went, I can do that. I know how to do that.
That's great.
But I didn't know that I should have been born then in 1927.
Right. Well,
to do that.
But you know what I'm always fascinated with, even now, because I also teach, and my kids are 7 to 17, that even the really young ones have, just like you had that experience, they will, same thing, they're watching something, and they see something, whether it's like West Side Story or like some old movie, or their parents will take them to a Broadway show. So do you see someone you know here?
Jerry Sammartino.
Oh, hi, Jerry. So, they'll see something that evokes something in them, or some light goes off.
Yeah.
Like I have parents that come to me and say, look, I don't know much about this, but my kid can't stop singing. Yeah. They sing everything there is to sing, but they'll call it, old-fashioned stuff. And what it is musical theater. Yeah. And I love that musical theater possesses that magic that no matter what age we are, no matter... Yes! It does.
Now the umbrella of musical theater incorporates every type of music, country, rock, pop.
Yeah, it really has, and it's taken that. So now, I was working with. I also want to bring this up because your voice is like I would put you under the. You have a really strong, and it comes out of because you're this tall, thin, pretty girl, right? And it comes out of no, but then this big voice will come out of like. I don't know where it comes from, and it's like, oh boy, I thought you were done with your breath, and then there's a little more, and then there's a little more. So we were working together a few weeks ago at Brandy's piano bar. Yeah, no, listen, me too. Trust me.
It's always a little
I can talk. So we were working together at Brandy's, and it was really late, like 3 o'clock or 3:15, like the end of the road, right? And then you got up, and I'm thinking, oh good, we're almost done. Everybody's done. We're starting to clean up. And Liz got up and did like 2 more, 3 more big numbers. And I think that late at night, like, does that come from a place, like, as a singer for you, and I want to go back to Chris and ask him as a vocal coach, teacher, does that come out of a place of like, okay, now I can relax and I just want to give it 3,000%, or does it come from a place of just pushing a little harder, or just the love for it?
I think...
Because you got some pipes.
Thank you. I think ultimately I'm a night person. I always have been.
Yeah, me too.
And my mother used to say, no matter how much you've like dragged yourself through the day or haven't gotten enough sleep, like right now, something she was like, I don't know. I think she was saying it at that time out of irritation and sort of marveling, but she was trying to say at like 11:30, midnight, something in your brain just goes, and like turns on again, and I'm like,
So
hi,
even
how's
as
it going?
a
How you
kid, you
doing?
were a night owl.
Yeah, always. I was always like
Yeah,
getting
me
out of bed
too.
and coming down the hallway and being like, can I? And she'd go, go to bed.
Christian,
But
are you
this
thinking
for
the same
me-
thing? First,
Yeah.
let me acknowledge Julie Angelina. She's in Australia. She's
Oh,
our
wow.
Australia. She comes live, so they have a completely different time. She has a really funny show that goes live, and she does it the opposite of us. So when we're coming home from those late gigs, if you should friend Julie Angelina. She's hysterical.
Oh, great.
But
You
go
know what I
ahead.
think about the late night? I think it's appealing and it wakes up my creativity because the to-do list is all done for the day.
Really?
And then I have a hard time going to bed because when I wake up, there's another to-do list.
Oh boy.
Right.
Whereas if I stay up an extra 2 hours, I've got really free time
And
because I've done the day.
And you know what's funny about me is I can't sleep until really late because I have things I need to do in my head. So like sometimes I'll try to go to bed at a reasonable hour, and I can't because I think I should do this, I should do that, I should do that, I should do that. And I will wake up. I've learned to stop trying to sleep when I can't do it. I'll wake up. A lot of it is on the computer, things I can do like on the off hours, or whether it's finishing a project or emailing someone, something that won't wake someone up. And I will do that. Once I'm done with that, then I can. So I understand that. And to me also, like, the night is like, I feel like I'm playing hooky.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting away with something when I work nights.
And you're not competing with everybody that's getting everything done in the daytime.
Yeah.
Not competing, but like
Right,
I have
right.
to keep up with.
I love walking around the city at night.
At
Yeah.
night.
Everybody's to bed not everybody because it's New York City.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
there's a reasonable amount of people out instead of the crunch of the.
Yeah, but you know,
weekday.
like, you grew up in the suburbs, right?
Right.
So, I mean, and I grew up in Massachusetts, I mean, in the North End, but then we moved out to the suburbs. Everything's done at like 9.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
streets roll up. I'm like, where is everybody?
Yeah.
Done. So you go to bed early, you get up early. But here, like, you could walk out of your apartment at midnight, even 1 o'clock, and life is happening.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
a lot of life is happening.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it too. So, all right. So Chris, let's go back to you. You talked about all the different groups, but I want to now tap into your teacher. So what would you say is something that a singer, just a quick tool, let's say you've worked a lot of hours, but you have to produce, you're singing, you're doing 8 shows a week, or you're working in the piano bars, or you work in a band, or you know, whatever it is, and you have to use, or you're doing voiceovers and you're spent. What's like a few tricks that you can use?
Well, the first thing is hopefully you've warmed up your voice.
Okay.
So you're not using the voice in a way where you're working against the voice, you're working with the voice.
Okay.
You know, and I worked with Gospel for Teens, which is a program through the Mama Foundation of the Arts. And
Amazing.
I'm doing my 4th summer with them. I just had my first session with them today. And the whole day that I'm working with them.
And
I'm
how old
saying-
are they?
They are 14 to 19 or 20.
Can you imagine how you're changing their lives?
That program is so amazing. They perform with all these incredible celebrities. Look at Gospel for Teens through the Mama Foundation for the Arts. They're incredible.
Wow.
Vi Higginson and Noelle Higginson sort of are at the helm of that, and they're amazing. And so what I'm telling these kids are, we warm it up so that it's easy.
Right.
Make it easy. And so much about that is breathing. And so I teach a breathing technique because when I learned to warm up my breath, that there's a warm up for it, it really made it clear what I was looking for.
Right.
To feel as far as how the breath supports me, instead of musical directors always shouting, "Hey, don't forget to use your diaphragm," and I'd be like, "Do I have to buy a contraception?
Right.
What are you,
Right.
what are
What do
you
you
talking
mean?
about?"
Right,
I have
right.
no idea what. But if I can feel how the muscles respond,
Right.
I know what I'm looking for.
Right.
So what I would say is, make sure you're warming yourself up, and keep it easy.
Keep it easy.
You know, and sorry, go ahead.
no,
Use your
I-
diaphragm and keep it easy.
Right, but what
By
I was
using your
going to say,
diaphragm, keep it easy.
I find that I can learn things. I mean, I've been singing since I was 9, and I'm in my 50s. So but I learn things all the time that, like, just a few years ago, I learned like this technique where someone would say like warming up is like ironing a shirt. You have some wrinkles. Don't worry, it's not going to be on the first swipe. You're going to have to keep going with it. Like if there's a break in your voice or something, like, just keep. And I tell my students that too. Like, don't freak out if you crack. That's great. You crack. Now you know where that break is.
I say if a warm up is pretty, you're not doing it right.
I love it.
And
okay,
I love the ironing of the shirt. That's great.
Yeah, I don't know who said that. I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
The warm-up, I call the breath support is like the lightning rod, and the warm-up is really like the lightning rod for the voice. Because on Tuesday, you might feel amazing, and oh my gosh, I could sing all night. And then Wednesday, you might feel like, I can't do anything but Netflix and bonbons.
Right,
you know?
right.
So, yeah.
Which sounds wonderful.
When you're doing, but doesn't that sound great?
Yeah.
When you're doing 8 shows a week, that warm-up and that technique is your constant. It allows you to come back, whether there's a lot of wrinkles in the shirt or just a few, it gets you to a sense of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 2 on Saturday, has a sense of consistency for you in the experience as a singer.
Absolutely. I want to just take a moment. Jason Peck has joined us. We love Jason Peck as a supporter of the arts, has been for years. We love you, Jason. Mark Busanic, does anybody know who that is? I probably do. Maybe I know you just... So Mark has joined us. John Satram, oh my God. How much do we... John, you have to come on the show. So John, love you guys. Sean and I tuned in for a bit. They're going to Birdland. Birdland is amazing.
Fabulous.
There's something very magical about Birdland.
Yeah.
Like I always feel like this excitement that happens, you know, when I go there. It's like I feel like years of greatness there. Certain halls... But certain places hold this energy. Yeah. You know, like something great has happened here a lot. And I feel that.
My sister posted the, it looks like she posted the website for Gospel for Teens. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jenny Dilley. And she's a teacher?
She's a singer.
Oh, she's a singer.
She sings also. Yeah,
wow.
Beautiful voice.
Okay, so now, so you started off first as wanting to maybe teach, and then that's how it started for you. And Liz, did you go into acting programs as a kid? Were your parents the kind of parents that put you in, or was that something that you did on your own?
I had to push them a little bit. I pushed for voice lessons, and as a voice teacher, I don't know, people were saying, don't start, especially a female voice, don't start it too young.
And how old were you?
I was 14, but that was because I was really pushing my parents and the teacher that we met with, and she heard me sing and said, okay, you know, we can take it easy kind of thing. And she was more bel canto. I was not.
Ricky Ritzel just joined us.
Hey, Ritzel. I was not one of these, like, I'd never been that kid that had that, you know, that kind of thing. I was always, I mean, even, I don't know, I guess I mean, I didn't have, like, this sort of deep husky thing quite then, but it kicked in.
Well, you kind of find, I find that you find yourself as you go. Yeah. You know, like you may copy it. But one of the things I used to tell my kids, too, is when I worked in Sunset Park and they would say, I can't hit that note, or I can't hit that note, or I'd say, well, it's funny because when Mariah, because this was in the 90s, oh, well, Mariah's on, you're just singing along with Mariah, and all of a sudden, so I'd say, well, sing along with people that will challenge you, but don't try to sound like that, but sing along with it. You know, like I used to listen to, and this is dating myself, but I used to listen to a lot of Jane Oliver. I don't even know if you guys know.
Oh, of course.
Okay, so that was my warm-up. I would play Jane Oliver, which was way higher than my range, but I would try to do it in her keys when I was warming up. So it forced me to go higher and go higher and go higher, but I loved the way she delivered something. Yeah. I was moved by her. So that's what I would sing along to, you know? So things like that. All right, let's check in with our peeps. Let me see who else we have here. So David Brian Colbert. Hi. Hi, David Colbert. So Ricky Ritzel. Hi, Ricky Ritzel. Boy, we love you. And Du Cook says, love late night creativity and performing. Late night possesses focused magical energy that allows a sort of osmosis to just happen, but at least to me. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think there's a sense of freedom, and like we were talking about the magical. It is magical.
Yeah.
That everyone's asleep.
Allows you to play.
Yeah. You're playing hooky a little bit. Yeah. It's like these hours that have a little mystery and full. There's a fullness to them because we're not doing 5 different things because we're not trying to get on the subway and get to work and all that stuff.
Right, and also our friends are there with us a lot of times.
People are coming out to blow off their day and forget about serious things and be there to have fun.
And you know what I love? Like, we're in the business. I mean, I feel very lucky. I'm one of those people that has always had an attitude of gratitude. Always. And I really have it. The older I get, the more I have it. Because not everything always turns out great for everybody. So I'm like, kind of like, okay, I'm just happy I have what I have.
Right.
And I just find that musicians, singers, we're so lucky because we do what we would want to do even after hours.
Yeah.
So like last night I was working downtown and we were singing and having carried on, and then the nights start to dwindle down. Everybody's getting really tired, and these 4 guys walked in, and you could tell they were cool. They were like musicians, and they were from out of town or whatever.
Right.
And they fell upon the downtown scene, and they were like, oh, so what's going on? And they just happened to have their instruments, and they pulled out a sax and a harmonica, and then we have a cajon there, and they got up. And they were so great. And then we came alive and were like singing even more. And I thought, and they had come from a gig. And I thought, you just came from a gig where you got paid. But what do you want to do after your gig? You want to keep gigging.
That's right.
And
do it for yourself.
Right.
And do it for yourself, and do it for the love of it, and do it to connect. They were going out to do it. They were going out to connect with other people.
Yep. And I thought, like, if you're a nurse, you don't want to leave your job and go and like treat
someone up.
Right, treat patients. Or if you're a bus driver, you don't want to go out and then say, I'm going to drive a truck now, just to relax. Maybe, I don't know. But
maybe somebody who's in the medical field might see someone who needs medical attention.
And know how to
home and maybe
know how to do that.
Happening.
So I was feeling extra grateful last night. So you also do like we talked about, you do hosting and stuff too, like at Rise Bar, and I know you say you fill in for people. But so how did you come across that?
Well, when I moved to the city, speaking of the open mic scene, when I moved to the city, that's where I found my people. I was brand new to New York. I moved here 13 years ago, and I had a couple of friends here and there.
Right.
But I wanted to be singing, and I wanted to be a part of the scene, and I was doing the auditions, and the auditions are what they are.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But then what? I want to hang out with my people. My people love music. My people love to sing, and my people in theater. So that's how I found my people. So I met Marty Thomas and Emily McNamara and all those fantastic people.
Marty Thomas, I was trying to get him on the show. He's doing something now. I won't be back. But Marty Thomas is one of those like wonderful. Do you know Marty Thomas?
I know of him. We don't know.
Have you ever heard Marty Thomas sing?
Oh my gosh.
You don't know. I don't know how it's like divine intervention or something. He's like it's like something comes through this little skinny guy, this little cute blonde boy, and you're like, what in God's name?
Yeah, his voice is
unbelievable,
and he's such a great
person.
He pulls people together to do amazing projects, and it's just he's the best.
I got to stop because your mom. I want to read this. Jill Dilley says I have all of Jane Oliver's albums and have seen her live. Always sang along with her. She is magic. Thank you.
Yeah, I remember her playing her when I was a kid.
Thank you, Jill, because a lot of people don't know her. And I am so moved, like when people say, who were your inspirations? Stevie Wonder, I had every album, and I still am so, and Jane Oliver were my 2 biggest. Jane Oliver as a vocalist, I was just like, what is that? Mm-hmm. And so I always appreciate, and I know she's out in Philly. I saw Jane Oliver in Harrison, Pennsylvania.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, right around Lancaster, but I think it was Harrison, and it was great, and she is just as good.
Recently?
No, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it says, David Colbert says, I love getting to be a chance to be part of someone's New York moment.
Working in clubs.
Yeah. Yep. That one thing that they will talk about after they leave, and each of you gave a special New York moment. Yes, I agree. We are lucky because people come from, we forget, we're in New York, right? So we just live here. But we are in the center of the universe. Mm-hmm. And for the arts, it's the be-all, end-all. Oh,
Steele.
Hi, Ann Steele, talking great singers. Hi, Ann Steele. How are you, sweetheart? We love you, too. Another, talk about pack-a-punch singer. Ann Steele.
Voice.
Holy mackerel. I actually wrote a song a few years ago called I'd Rather Never Know. And I liked the song, I wrote it, whatever, but it didn't belong to me. It's funny. But when I ran into Ann, I was like, Ann, I gave her the sheet music. You have to do this song.
Which song?
It's called I'd Rather Never Know. And when I said, I have to hear you do the song. When I heard her do the song, I almost cried. It was like, that's who should be singing the song. Mm-hmm. Sometimes as a songwriter, the song is yours, and sometimes it belongs to someone else. Mm-hmm. But Ann is one of those voices that brought it to life. So thank you, Ann. So that's another thing. You get to meet all these amazing people.
Amazing people.
Right?
Yeah.
Amazing
that
people.
change your life.
Yeah.
If I could
say, please jump in.
Before this
And bring your
started.
voice up a teeny bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's like we don't think of it, but just so, because I have the air conditioner on because it's so hot in here.
Yeah, we used to work with someone who would say to me, I loved him very much, but he would say, as an actor, don't let people know that you work in piano bar, because they pigeonhole you and they categorize, it has a certain stigma to it. Am I speaking loud enough?
Yeah, you're great.
And I would say, though, at the same time, I would defy anyone to walk into any of the piano bars in New York City and not have a great time, not be blown away by each and every person working there, their talent, their grit, their ability to put it over the top, even at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., what have you, or to quietly tell a story and move people.
Right.
And I mean, we've all had people come up to us and say, thank you, you changed my night, I was in such a crap mood, and you turned my day around, or you gave me this connection, or I came back just for you, or you do that better than the person I saw doing it in the show that it's from, or whatever that may be. And Dawn, sweet.
No, but it's true. And the thing is, so Jeffrey says that's my very favorite Maria songs. But Jeffrey, you notice I don't sing I'd Rather Never Know. I've never sung it publicly. It's not my song to sing. But you want to hear Ann Steele sing it. Holy moly. Now, what I wanted to say along the lines of what you're talking about is that giving that, people, they come and they just listen and they think, wow, it's this close. If they go to a Broadway show or even a cabaret show, they're watching someone and they're taking it in, but they're not interacting. What we give people when we do these live performances, whether they're at Rise Bar or at the piano bars that we work at, is they get to interact with us, and we involve them. Like that's one of my favorite things to do.
You.
Yeah, well, if they heckle, they heckle.
Jump back in their
because
face.
Be careful who you heckle, because
exactly.
I got, we always joke when we say we have the microphone.
Right.
But I love to connect with an audience. Like that is when I feel the most alive.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that have been my roommates or people that know me at home sometimes will be like, "You're so different at home," because I'm kind of quiet sometimes. Right. But out there, I'm like, it's all out there. Right? And you get to have that experience, and then you have to contract.
And to work with people, I'm sorry.
No.
To work with people who are all up on that level and can play off each other, and some of the greatest, the most talented musicians playing the pianos in these places, Michael Isaacs, Nate Buccieri.
Oh my God, I know.
John Bronson, all of you guys, Ricky Ritzel.
Amazing.
Everybody that you
Will
work with.
T. and Hall, I gotta
Willie
mention.
Absolutely. Everybody. If I left your name out, it's not because...
Yaz at Rise Bar,
everybody.
And Uncle Charlie's.
Yeah, there's so many amazing piano players in this town, and now, Chris, I want to go back to you because you work with Broadway inspirational voices as well. So talk about that, because go ahead.
I was a fan for years and years. My sister actually gave me the CD when I first moved to New York, and it's the gospel choir of the Broadway community. So they like to say the best way to describe it is it's the intersection of gospel and Broadway.
Wow.
It was founded by Michael McElroy. He was a Tony nominee and has done all this great theater. And they started it in the mid-'90s as a response to the HIV and AIDS crisis.
Okay.
To bring gospel music to the community, to the city, for healing and
which moves me more than anything else. Gospel
oh my gosh,
music.
Yeah, it's incredible. So I got to know Michael just through being out and being out in the city.
Yeah.
And finally got the nerve up to say, hey, if you ever need a tenor.
Really?
And he had heard me sing, and he said, yeah.
Wow.
Join
and your
us.
voice is beautiful, by the way. I know we're focusing a lot on your teaching, but your voice is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
No, it's true.
Thanks.
So, it's important, it's important to, but...
And we've never heard each other, so...
We haven't. I know.
No, but this is what's so great. But
piano bar date at some point.
But we're talking shop, and that's what's so great. Now, let me just check in with people. So let me see. Jenny Dilley says, Marty is amazing. Yes, he is. So MartyThomas.com, we just posted that. Must check out Rise Open Mic. Yep. Sundays, piano bars are great. Way to put the show on your own. Create context. Okay, so all this stuff that Jenny Dilley is... and once we save the video, which we will, you can still see all the comments and go and check everything else. So Elvira Federico is my friend from Boston. She has checked in. Hi, Elvira. How are you? Okay, so now... one of the things I want to talk about too is that going back to the gospel thing. Because I work at Mess Hall. On the weekends, I manage Mess Hall, which is on 118th and Frederick Douglass Boulevard. And it's a great bourbon bar. One of my friends, Shanna Sharp, is the co-owner, and all the owners are great. They're really nice people. It's in Harlem, and yesterday I was going to work, and I passed like a block away. It's like this kind of revival church. All it is a storefront, and it's like, it's got a little bit of stained glass on it and all that. And the doors were open, and the street was pounding. And I was like, what is happening there? And it was like a revival. And it was gospel music. And I just talking about it, I get chills. I walked by it and I was so drawn in, and so were other people. The doors were just open, and we started like just looking in and listening. And I wanted to cry. I was like, stop right here and freeze this moment. This is what the world is really about. If we could all just listen to this beautiful music, we would just forget that we're fighting, and I dare you not to be moved.
Right.
Well, it's something that gospel music does, and music does in general.
Yep.
Is it dissolves our sense of difference. When we're coming
that's a
together
beautiful way to put it.
To make music and to enjoy music, the audience included.
That is beautiful. What you just said.
I remember. I was teaching for Gospel for Teens. I was leading a workshop, and they had a guest choir in from France.
Wow.
Okay, so you have these teens from New York City. They are all scholarshiped into this program. So many of them come from low-income families here in the New York area.
Wow.
And then you have this choir from France who spoke very little English. So there was a sense they sat on separate sides of the room when they were first there, and then they sang for each other, and it makes me want to cry. All of a sudden, there was no sense of they were from different sides of the pond, that they spoke different languages, that they were different age groups. It was just one choir would sing and the other choir would cheer and shout and clap along and sing along, and then the other choir would sing for them. And it was the most magical thing, and especially in this time, you realize it's kind of easy, like you said, we're in New York and we're around it all the time.
Right.
It's easy to take it for granted, but music is so powerful and transcendent.
So powerful.
Yeah.
And it truly is like something that brings everybody together. Like, I've learned this from the piano bars, because people come from, we're in New York, so there's a lot of tourists. People come from all over the world. I've made friends from all over the world that I'm Facebook friends with now, or bought my CD, or stay in touch with me, or when I go to those places, I know that they're there and I visit them, or I ask questions. But it is the musical connection. There's nothing, even little babies, like I love to watch little babies with music. They can't even stop moving. They're just like, because they just can't stop moving. And older people, same thing, like, there was this woman that used to do all this work in nursing homes, and she would call a bunch of us and say, "Can you just? I know it's 10 in the morning." Michael Isaacs was part of it, and or Joe Regan, Jim Keefe. We used to go at these like 10 a.m. It was called Vocalese, I think.
Yes.
Eva Swan.
Okay.
And she runs this thing, and it's amazing. She would call us, and we'd each do like 2 or 3 songs, and in the morning you'd be like, I don't want to do this, I'm so tired, I don't want. And then you'd get there and you would see these people that couldn't leave where they were, but all of a sudden the music would start and they would be tapping their feet or like dancing and singing, and that to me is just like, you just can't beat that. So let's check in a little bit, and then I want to talk about our food. Oh my God, our night is flying by. All right, so Juan Horado Viniera has joined us. Mandar, what are you saying? Can we sing something, please? I know. Mandar is one of our customers that comes down, and he is an amazing singer, dancer, and he sings along at the top of his lungs. Okay, Paul Lucas says, the issue is that music cannot dissolve greed. Greed is what drives hatred, because manufacturing hatred and distrust enables the powers that be to make money. However, and I know what you're talking about, but the thing is that purity of like young people hearing each other, the purity of people just sitting there having a drink or not having a drink and listening to each other, I think that transcends everything. Once it gets, go ahead.
I was just seeing what Don Sunday wrote.
Go ahead.
In CVS the other day, Heatwave was on store music. Half a dozen customers of varying backgrounds just shopping, all belting it out. It was wonderful.
Isn't that great? Yeah. It's true. That's what brings us together. Yeah. So I want to take just a break because I want to talk about our food. Okay. So my guest did not know. I don't know if you knew, Chris, but Liz did not know we had food. She was like, "There's food." I was like, "I'm Italian, of course
I
there's
didn't know the
food."
food was like a part of the show.
Oh,
So
yeah.
exciting.
So I cook for my guests. That's how I lure them. And Jay Rivera has joined us. Hi, Jay. So he's a great singer. So last week I was in Boston with my family, and it was a crazy over-the-top show, which I can't stop laughing. So this week I was like, okay, I was way up there in the crazy, and we had all this amazing Italian food, and we ordered out and stuff like that, and people brought in. My cousin Marisa cooks. So it was a lot of Italian food. So this week I'm like, okay, I got to stop eating because I could not stop eating. So I have to like just relax. And then these two are in good shape. So I thought I'm not going to make anything fatty. I'm going to make something healthy and delicious. Okay, so this is what I went with. I made teriyaki chicken with garlic, onion, ginger, orange. I put some orange juice in there. I like to cook with orange juice sometimes. Just to, just to like reduce it. And then I put snow peas and carrots in there. I can't wait to eat this. It's going to be, and it's over quinoa brown rice.
Yes.
Because I knew you
Anne
guys.
wants to come for the food.
I'm telling you. Who says that?
And
Can I
steal.
come on your
Yes,
show? I like
please.
this food.
I'm telling you, that's how I lure in my guests. Okay, so what did I make for a salad this week? I went with a classic iceberg, which I don't usually go with the iceberg. I go with like fancy schmancies. But it's summer for some reason. I crave iceberg. But then I counter, because that doesn't have a lot of nutritional value. I don't know if you know that. But I countered it with red cabbage. So there's your nutritional value. So I threw some red cabbage in there. Then I have Persian cucumbers, red peppers, which are my favorite. And then I put some basil in there. So that is in there. And red peppers. And I'm going to put a red wine vinaigrette that I bought at, usually I make my own dressings, but Trader Joe's has the most, which I love, has the most delicious red wine vinaigrette. So if you don't want to make your own dressings, Trader Joe's has delicious dressings. Now,
Jen also just
What
my
did she
sister's
say?
on it.
What
She
did she-
posted the link to Broadway Inspirational Voices. as well.
Jen, we cannot thank you enough.
Yes.
Thank you, honey. So people, after we save this, please go and check out those links, because that's what this is all about. Spreading the love of what we do, letting people know what we're doing. Now, for dessert, going with the theme, I have pineapples. Smells delicious. Now, and also ginger snap cookies, because the ginger in the, which I love, and these are very low fat. I don't know if you know that. And ginger is really good for you. Now, I want you to talk about, you said when I showed you earlier, pineapples are really good for the voice. So tell me about that.
I have to say,
we don't know why.
I'm not exactly sure why.
But it is, you would suggest, like there are certain juices that are very high in acid. And they tell you like it's going to cause
Acid reflux.
right, which is not good for your voice. Like orange juice, as much as I love it, is not one of those things. Tomato juice, very bad. Dairy, which I love.
Although they say that's a myth now.
Yeah.
The newest buzz is that if you have a intolerance, then it can cause problems.
Oh, but if you don't,
just drinking a little bit of dairy or whatever is apparently not as harmful as we thought.
Okay.
But again,
I love
that's
dairy.
The medical
so.
side that I take the information and use it as I can. But then when it comes to like, will this hurt my voice or will it not?
Yeah.
That's for the
it's
ENT.
not. Yeah, and it's not so much about the hurting either. Sometimes, like if I have like
natural anti-inflammatory.
What's that? The
pineapple.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Who said
there
that?
We go.
Who's
Couple
our
people, Paul Lucas and Isabella.
Isabella Raskowski. It's. I'm sorry. I just because it'll start scrolling.
Yeah.
That's really my cousin Marisa. Isabella's her daughter, so she hijacks her Facebook page. And pineapple. Okay, thank you.
Anti-inflammatory.
Nice to know.
There we go.
And also, there's something about it. Like I know Katie Cass, who's a friend of mine, who's an amazing singer. She's in Wisconsin now. She used to drink it before shift, a whole can of. And Michael Isaacs drinks 2 cans of it.
Pineapple juice?
Yes, before shift.
Bernardi?
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I'm telling you, it does something. It's also very smooth. There's something that is silky about pineapple juice. So it might, like, just coat your throat, that too. But anyway, it's one of those things. So I have the pineapple. I also have oranges in the kitchen I might slice up. Okay. Mandar said you need to publish your recipes in an online cookbook blog. Let me tell you something about being Italian and recipes. Never. You don't tell people your secrets. That's how you keep them guessing. Sometimes what I do, and if you see, I'll show you guys, I have this amazing spice rack in the kitchen. It's like 4 tiers tall. I have like spices from all over the world. Sometimes I'll say to my guests, if they're like, what did you put in it? And I'm like, go over, and if you hit something that you think is in there, I will tell you yes or no. but I will not give away my recipes. I give you certain things, but there's other things I put in there. Okay, so I want to now just for a second talk about food. So, what are some of the food, we talked about childhood, what are some of the foods, Chris, that you grew up with that you just will bring you back there?
We were very all-American in the diet.
Okay.
So it was, and my parents were not particularly passionate cooks.
Okay.
So I didn't grow up with the love of cooking. I can't cook nothing.
Really?
Chicken
Yeah.
and eggs.
Okay.
I do make a couple mean omelets.
All right. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So for breakfast, we'll come to your house.
Breakfast come to my house.
So you'll be making the breakfast.
Yeah.
But what is something that when you think about it, like let's say you've had a really bad day.
Yeah.
What's your comfort food?
Well, I didn't eat it as a kid.
Right,
But
but now-
sushi makes me very happy.
Yeah, that's my reward food. If I do something really
Yeah.
great, I'll say,
makes me real happy.
okay, you can go to sushi because it's kind of expensive, but it's one of those things I love too.
Yeah.
And how about you, Liz? What was something you grew up with that you loved?
I grew up with the German side of my family.
Oh,
so
okay. I didn't know there
everything
was a German side.
Yeah, my mother's side is all German. I'm the only half breed.
Really? Did they speak German?
Just slang and
Did you grow up with all that
and
great German food?
roasts and see, I
I
was
love
not
that
somebody
stuff.
that loved all the whoosh and the krauts and stuff. I'm more like a loin of pork. My grandmother's roast beef and her little new potatoes.
I love that
my
stuff.
God, so good.
Yeah, that comfort
that's
food.
a smell that will take
you right back there.
But we had a good balance with vegetables and farm stands growing up on Long Island. And,
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it. If you eat like fresh stuff, like fresh vegetables
Yeah.
instead of canned stuff, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
We grew up like my dad always had a garden, always, and he still does. He's 82, but he still has a garden. Great tomatoes, lettuces, and the sugar snap peas, the pea pods. He grows them as well.
Oh,
So
great.
as a kid, we used to just eat them by themselves, like a snack. So you get used to eating that stuff.
Sure.
All right. So what are you working on now? Are you working on anything you want to tell us about?
We just finished a gig for Broadway Inspirational Voices. We had a concert last month, and we have another one now that's in the works for sometime in December. We're doing a holiday concert.
You have to start
sometime
now.
in December. We are going to start
You have to.
rehearsals probably in a couple of months. It sounds like we usually
Yeah.
do it. We usually spend the season. And speaking of places to build community around music and singing, I'm also a judge for a competition called So You Think You Can Belt.
Oh,
which
what's
is
this?
It's at the West End,
Which is
on
where?
the West Side, 107th and Broadway.
What
and
night?
On Wednesday nights, we're in the final rounds right now. We're in the third round of finals. I think we still have 16 or 18 singers competing in the final rounds, and it's me, Natalie Weiss, who has the Breaking Down the Riffs YouTube series.
Wow.
And is also a fantastic singer. Sam Carner of Carner and Gregor. We are the 3 resident judges. It's produced by
That's
Peter
amazing.
Dunn, who's fantastic. And then we have guest judges come in once in a while.
Wow.
So, what's really great is...
So what time is that? What time
it's
is that?
It's usually at 7:30. Tomorrow it's at 7.
Okay.
But usually it's at 7:30. You can look on the Facebook page, So You Think You Can Belt.
Wow, that's
at the
so
West
cool.
End. It's super cool. It's great because you watch, even though it's a competition, which
Yeah.
it is a competition. I'm doing it in quotes, but it actually is a competition.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it in quotes because everyone gets so close.
Right, right.
And now I see competitors from previous seasons are now producing shows together. And,
Yeah, but that's what it's
getting
about.
together
Yeah.
and creating projects and making opportunities available.
And
for
look,
each other,
yeah,
it's really great.
The competitors of today, like are the people that you will collaborate with tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's right.
The
Yeah.
thing is, I just feel like this is important what you said. Don't waste opportunity because of a resentment or jealousy or competition. Healthy competition is good, but go for personal best. And if something doesn't work out where you may not win top prize at something, but I'm always inspired by other singers. I've always been that kind of person because my voice is very different, and I also I'm not that high belt girl, and sometimes I like tenor stuff, like I'll do the rocker guy stuff, the
Right.
Steve Perry stuff or something,
Yeah.
because that's my range.
Yeah.
And I always just go with, what was I doing a couple of years ago? Am I hitting better notes? Am I able to hold a note longer? Do I have a different resonance?
Well, you want to be the best you.
Right.
Yeah.
We spend so much time, and it's so easy in auditions when they say, "Please have a belt up to a G," and all those things.
yeah,
But it
yeah.
isn't.
To hit certain marks, yeah.
Yeah, and yes.
Oh, wait, we have to stop for a second. My
Yes.
cousin Gina Savino has joined. When Gina Savino comes on, we clap. Gina Savino! It's a thing every week. Last week she was on the show. Hysterical. Leah Sutton has joined us. She is amazing. She's out in Florida, and she knows entertainment from the production side. And do you know Leah?
I know Morgan Riley, who just joined.
Amazing.
Amazing singer.
Morgan, how long have I been trying to get you on the show? But
So
her
great.
schedule is crazy.
I met her on So You Think You Can Belt.
See?
I was a
Look at that.
guest judge, and she
Amazing.
got up and sang to an a cappella track that she had done with her own voices.
Oh, so she
And
really?
did a mashup with herself. And I was like, this girl and I are...
Yeah,
because
remember
I-
that name, Morgan Riley,
Unbelievable.
because she's already doing amazing things, and
Yeah.
she's just one of those people that you're gonna be glad that you remembered her.
Yes.
She's a lovely human being.
Hi, Kenny.
Who's that? Kenny Holcomb. Oh my God, yes, Kenny Holcomb. Kenny, if I ever do a cookbook, you will have to write a forward. Kenny Holcomb and Leo too have had many of my dishes over the
God, I
years.
can't wait.
I throw a lot of parties. Like I have a great party which you're both invited to. Open invitation now. The week between Christmas and New Year, that Wednesday right in between,
Right.
I throw a musician's party, and I have a piano, and my friends bring the guitars and whatever. We have percussion and harmonicas, and we just sing all night, and I cook like up a
jam.
storm. It's a jam, and my neighbors are amazing, and I invite them. And a lot of my
That's what you gotta invite the neighbors,
Yes.
otherwise
That's
you
a
get
New York
complaints to the
thing.
neighbors. That's right.
My neighbors are
New York
also great.
secret.
And I live in Washington Heights, so there's a lot of music up here, and people don't seem to care so much. But a lot of my neighbors are musicians. Now, yes, I want you to talk about what you're doing and what you want us to know about you that we didn't talk about. But you do so much, Liz.
I just did, well.
And you also won a bunch of awards. Could you just name those for the hell of it?
That was a while ago.
Doesn't matter.
Several years ago, I won the MetroStar competition, which afforded me the great opportunity of getting to do a headlining gig, my own one-woman show with a fantastic band. And
Which is great.
That show then won the Nightlife, the MAC, and the Bistro Awards.
That's a huge deal. That's why I wanted you to talk about that.
From doing those, then I got to do other things, like a Broadway by the Year, where Scott Siegel, throws in
These are
a
big
rando
deals.
with the Broadway people. So I'm still trying to be a Broadway people, but while I wasn't, I got to hold my own on stage with them, and it was awesome. There were all kinds of people involved in that. I'm a founding member of the Musical Theater Factory, which is still in existence, even though we don't have our space any longer in the porn studio. We are housed with playwrights.
Oh,
The
I know
porn
that
studio
building. I know that building.
Above Drum Bookshop. That was our humble beginnings. But we're in residence at.
But there wasn't any nudity happening in your show.
No.
No, right.
No,
we don't
well,
want
that's a separate thing. No,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying
okay.
I'm a
Just
founding
the
member
building.
of the Musical Theater Factory, which has put out several hundred new musicals and connected so many people. Was started and helmed by Shakina Nafak, and I just did.
Ann Steele said you rocked the MetroStar.
Oh.
I trust Ann Steele.
Well, she got me
She
into
knows
it.
what
I
she's-
sang
she knows
backup
what
for
she's
her
doing.
show, and then she forced me to get into the competition next year. But anyway, just really quickly, because I know we're running out of time. The Musical Theater Factory, I just did The Civility of Albert Cashier, about a transgendered masculine soldier in the Civil War, true story.
Really?
It was and with a group of mostly trans-masked actors.
Wow.
It was just an incredible piece that Shakina Nafak directed, written by Joe Stevens, Keaton Wooden, and Jay Durrani, and just did that this week as part of NYMF. And
Which is, tell us what NYMF is so people
New York
don't know.
Musical Theater Festival,
Okay, which is happening right now.
which is happening right now, and then coming up at the Laurie Beachman Theater a couple Thursdays in August. I'm part of Joe Iconis family, and we're going to have several our shows after his show, his big show across the street, opening at the Signature. They're in previews. They go into previews this week for Be More Chill. So definitely go see that, and then come see us afterwards.
There's so much to do in the city. It's overwhelming,
Yeah.
and yet incredible. And so, and we that are out there, we don't expect you to be able to get to everything that we do, but we want to let you know about it on this show and other shows. So I saved this video at the end. If you come up with, other things that you want to type in, You are welcome. After, we'll save it. We're going to share it on everyone's page. Please feel free to comment, because we get all those comments and we get to see them. Also, I have a page called What's the Story with Maria, which is my show's page. Please go and like it. I would love that. And I'll have announcements on there that you can follow. And I always tell my guests, if you're doing things, please post them on that page so that people can see what you're doing and follow and all that stuff.
Oh, and can I say one more thing?
Please.
My roommate, the fabulously brilliant, talented Nikki Coble, is writing, show running, producing her own web series. And added. Oh no!
How much time we got, Jimmy?
Less than a minute.
Less than a minute. Go ahead.
It's called Awkwardly. It's in post-production. I'm in one of the episodes, but she's kick-ass, and look for that next year. Awkwardly.
Awkwardly. Okay.
Collective.
All right. So we want to thank Chris Dilley. So handsome. Oh my God. I think he's so cute. Jesus. I can't help it. I think you're gorgeous. Okay.
Aww.
Liz Lark Brown, also gorgeous. And they're both so talented. We appreciate them. And thank you for coming out. Please come back every week, 9 p.m. Tuesdays. What's the Story with Maria? We are in podcast now. This is going to go into Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, and guess what? Spotify. So now you can type in, you go to Spotify, What's the Story with Maria? This is episode 54, and you'll see Chris Dilley and Liz Lark Brown. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you. See you next week. Bye-bye.